What's up, party people? Aslan Hajivandi, Michael Langston, recruiting analyst for Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. Appreciate you folks being here for a live recruiting chat. Lots to talk about. Folks probably want to talk about Josh Farmer in the portal. I don't know if we'll dabble in all that. Maybe a little bit. But before we get started, Michael, what should everybody do if they find themselves enjoying the content we're about to provide?
Yeah, certainly hit the like button for us, guys. We'll go into a lot of stuff. So it's a great feature and it's a great thing we promote. So we just ask you guys to basically hit the like button. That's really the only thing we've asked as far as handling it. So if you guys can do that for us, we appreciate it. It's going to be a fun show. Got a special guest coming on in a little bit, and so it should be pretty good.
Who is the special guest, Michael? You can let the cat out the bag, or do you want to keep it a secret?
No, I've already told people on the board when I put the post up. By the way, I forgot to put up the post, so I just literally put up the post maybe 5 minutes ago. But 4-star wide receiver BJ Gibson, FSU commit. He will be in here probably around 6:15 or so. So we'll have him on there. BJ was gracious enough that we've been communicating. So I was a little late getting everything set up. I want to make sure we're good. So we will definitely have him on, and we'll roll with it. And certainly we'll ask him a couple of cool little things as far as what's going on at FSU recruiting. Obviously, they're pretty hot as far as this 2024 class. So we'll dive into that, and certainly BJ will tell us kind of what's going on and just who he's recruiting, probably stuff like that. So we'll get into it with him in a little bit, but that's what's coming on.
All right, man. How are things going in your world otherwise, Michael? What is this time in the calendar for you, man?
It's hectic, man. I mean, it's just like I barely could get in here because there's so much stuff going on. I'm trying to track all these transfer, potential targets, and then obviously the Joshua Farmer news. So that creates more, checking on different things. Obviously, it might go after another defensive tackle now that they have a spot available. So it's something, a lot of different angles I'm checking on, and FSU still being very selective about this stuff. So I'm juggling recruiting, juggling, some big visits coming up like May 13th with Kylan Fox, tight end 4-star. He's going to be one that's on campus. So there's a lot of big things going on. Draft is tonight. Big time playoffs. So yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of just juggling around a lot of different things, and for me, it's mainly been transfer portal. I'm trying to tracking down certain guys I'm kind of keeping an eye on. So that's it's been a little more hectic than it usually is.
Is it still safety, linebacker, defensive line? You think right now?
Yeah, I'd say it's that, and you could throw in defensive tackle in there too, just because of the Farmer news. So if one pops out there, I don't think it's a guarantee they take one, because I still think it's a really solid group as far as what they have. But I think they would like to add another piece if they can, if it's a premier guy that fits kind of what they're looking for. But definitely those positions still, Aslan or linebacker, safety, and defensive line, and then maybe throw in a defensive tackle as well. So it's never ending. It never stops, man. I mean, it's my world's never stops as far as this stuff. I mean, when you think you're done, you just aren't.
Tomcat got to start off here. Michael, good evening. Sounds like we're getting 2 more 5-stars in the 2024 class. Does that sound right to you, Michael?
I'd say Charles Lester. It looks really good. I like where they sit with Charles. That's one, and then you also have JoJo Trader, who's a 5-star. I think there's a good possibility. I think FSU's very much in the mix there. I think maybe Miami slightly, but it goes back and forth for JoJo with FSU and Miami. I mean, some days it's FSU, some days it's Miami. So those are 2 off the top of my head. They're still involved. I think On3 ran a story today with Elias Robinson. He's a 5-star committed to Georgia, but FSU's been talking heavily with him. He really likes Patrick Surtain. So there's obviously a lot there as far as, they're working on that. But those are the main 5-stars. Obviously, Jonathan Daniels, I think FSU leads there. So that's another 5-star. So, yeah, it's about 3 guys that they're very active with. I'd probably say Daniels and Lester are most likely. So definitely, trending in a good position with a lot of these guys.
Let's see here. We just gotta. I mean, we're gonna get asked this probably, I don't know, like 20 times, and it's fine. I get it, everybody. Like, I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, maybe the wrong department, but I would defer all of our farmer
Yeah.
Daryl Jackson stuff prior to the reporting of Ira over on the tribal.
Yeah.
But he was able to reach out to compliance, and compliance did confirm that, like, yeah, I mean, for Daryl Jackson, like, if he wants to play this season, it would have to be at Florida State.
Right.
So we know that as much. Now, how much a relationship he has with Joshua Farmer to want to sit out a year and affect his future, I don't know. I'm not privy to that kind of stuff. But in terms of the waiver going to be improved, or is he going to go back to Miami? That'd be hard pressed to see him going back to Miami, man. But again, if he wants to play this season, it sounds like through what we've heard from compliance, it would have to be at Florida State. So that's what we know right now.
Yeah, and I would say, like, I think it's, in my opinion, it's more likely. It's pretty not pretty likely, but likely that Jackson stays. From what everything I've heard, doing a little checking, Ira's mainly the main guy, but I think Jackson likely stays just on the reasons you just pointed out, that he goes anywhere else, he's not going to be able to play. And the facts are, more than likely, wherever Farmer goes, whether that's Georgia, Ohio State, or any other school, or Miami, Colorado, he's probably only going to play 1 year and then go pro. So he's not even going to get to play with him, regardless. So I think it's likely that I think Jackson sticks, from what I hear. And then Jackson put out a pretty positive tweet last night, kind of confirming those feelings of, Nole Nation and all that stuff. But I think with him, I think the waiver thing is a wait and see. I think it's going to happen, but we'll wait and see. That's just my gut feeling. It's not based on a lot of intel. It's just based on the situation of how these things usually work as far as medical stuff. And I think he's likely going to. I think he likely gets it, but we're still in wait see mode of waiting for that waiver.
Yeah, the NCAA moves at a really slow snail's pace, everybody, too. So I wouldn't read too much into it in terms of the timing and everything. But there's our quarter-hour check-in on the Joshua Farmer, Daryl Jackson stuff. So there you go.
There you go.
You're welcome. Nole fan 1893, really hoping our boy Cromanhawk stays locked.
Well, he's locked in. I mean, I don't know much more you can do than cover. Like, he's locked in. He's not considering other schools. There's a reason he came to FSU as far as that meeting, and they locked it down. And I don't see that changing. They know he's the best guy as far as the guy they want, and they've coveted, and I think he's locked it down. So I don't think you have to worry about Luke. I think Luke is in a very good spot with FSU, and I think that if something was going to happen, it was going to happen in that spring, and I think they closed it down, locked it down. His parents even said to me when we saw them for the visit, he said, "We're officially official now." So they're pretty locked in. I think everything's good to go there.
Name from the past. Johnny Bucket says Taiwan Malone. Stay tuned.
We'll see. He's in the portal. Hasn't really done a lot at Ole Miss while he's there, but I mean, certainly talented off the high school versions. A lot of stuff. We've shown the highlights many times. He moves like a tight end. He's got freakish athletic ability. We'll see. There's certainly a history there with Odell and him. Certainly wouldn't be a bad ad. I mean, it would definitely be a productive guy that could certainly physically and skill wise could help you, but you wonder why it's been a struggle for him to get on the field early, one way or the other at Ole Miss. So we'll see.
I was trying to pull him up here to see where he's ranked on the On3 rankings, but we can just move along here. Nothing to see here. Our guy Kyle, Get Down or Lay Down, says, I heard we're in the lead for Daniels officially now.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think it's been in a good place for a while, as far as what FSU's done, as far as that recruitment. Obviously, they've done a great job. They've done a great job as far as his recruitment with Coach Atkins. But I think it's a process that he's going to go through everything, and we'll go from there. But I think they're in a good spot where they're doing.
Reminding folks, you can post your questions right here in the chat. We'll get to them on the warchant.com recruiting chat. Let's see here. Nole fan 1893. Appreciative of you talking about Cromanhawk.
Okay, we got some breaking news here, Aslan.
Is this true?
Joshua Farmer is staying. He just
He's staying.
tweeted about it's just on his account. If you go to the Cola account, he just tweeted that he's staying. So
Okay.
guess they worked it out. So
Oh
no,
man.
no more talking about Taiwan Malone, I guess, right now. But he just put a statement out. I'll read it to you guys so you guys can folks said. But it says, I know the last 48 hours have been extremely challenging. After talking with my family and my loved ones, I know that Florida State is home and it always will be. I believe in this team and the family we have. I want to be a part of the helping the program get to where I know we can go, and to give all I have making that happen. Family, keep climbing. Just posted 6 minutes ago. Boom.
Let's go.
That's
Let's go read all the comments from everybody dogging on him and calling him a cancer and wishing him no good luck the rest of his life. Can we go do that? Can we pull that up? So there you go, everybody. He back.
hey, Aslan. Can you
Yes.
send BJ an email? Apparently, he says he didn't get it, so I want to get him on.
Can you send him the email, man? So if you give me his email over this live chat right now, it's not the best way to go about it. The email I sent you, just forward it to him. And we'll be good on that. I can tap dancer. You can step away here, Mike. I'll let you.
No, you're good. I mean, just go away. Just keep talking, yabber on, and I'll figure this out.
All right. All right, everybody. So let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up here without Michael, both of those being on the screen. But all right, he's on the screen. It's fine. I'll just mute him. You can breathe. Do what you got to do, buddy. So yeah, if you're joining us, Joshua Farmer, who entered his name into the transfer portal earlier this week, and his name was removed from the Seminoles.com roster, which is pretty indicative of you no longer being with the program, actually entered the portal today. Like he tweeted earlier in the week that he was going to enter the portal. Today, he officially entered the portal. We were able to confirm that through our sources with On3. But then here today, you can see the message on your screen if you're listening to us on the podcast replay, as Michael read so eloquently to you all. I know the last 48 hours have been extremely challenging. After talking with my family and loved ones, I know that Florida State is home. It always will be. I believe in this team and the family we have. I want to be a part of helping the program get to where I know we can go and to give all I have making that happen. So there you go, everybody. Joshua Farmer, who some of you didn't have a lot of nice things to say about the last 72 hours. He's still a Nole. So welcome to 2023, everybody, and the new age of college athletics when it comes to the transfer portal. It seemed like he was gone, but you could put your name in the portal, and you got 48 hours once you give your name to the school for them to enter your name into the portal. But at any point, you can always leave. You can always leave. You can come back home. So that's a big deal, everybody. I know it's a lot of people are upset about the way he handled this. Let's remind ourselves he's 19, maybe 20 years old. It's a new day and age. People talking to people, maybe people outside of his sphere, trying to get inside the circle of trust and trying to give him better opportunities, perhaps. But this is a guy that had a really good spring. He's part of your plans, short term, long term. The number 5 is what you want to have when it comes to defensive ends, defensive tackles, Michael. We obviously like Fabian, Daryl Jackson, Braden Fisk. Farmer felt like the number 4 guy kind of in your rotation there. Then you got Dennis Briggs behind him. Daniel Lyons are in a much better place with Joshua Farmer on your roster in 2023. Hopefully it's water on the bridge for everybody. We can process this and be happy and move along. But, yeah, this is how things work nowadays. So good times. Good times. All right, Michael, as we wait to get BJ Gibson, our guest here on the show today, Ephraim Owens asking about Jalen Key, a safety out of UAB. Have you heard anything in that regard? So do you need some time to work on what you got to work on?
No, I mean, I mentioned him as a guy I'm watching. He is actually, he went to my alma mater in Godby. He's he went to Tallahassee. Corey Fuller actually brought him over from Gadsden when he went from Gadsden to Godby. Very talented safety. Talked to his former coach also, Brandon McRae, who I know really well, that used to coach at Godby, who's now at Lincoln. He's a guy I'm eyeing so far. I talked to Jalen the other night. There's no activity yet with FSU. So that's kind of where things stand. I think he would be intrigued by FSU, and he certainly would listen, and certainly that would be a major factor. But right now, it's kind of a wait and see with Jalen. I think it was all conference at UAB, but it's a wait and see to hear anything there.
Looks like he finally got starting team reps this past season here, graded out at over 70, so that's really good. Florida State could definitely use something like that in the back end of their defense. So good name to throw out there, Ephraim. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the information there, Michael. Let's see here. What else do we got here? Everyone's just celebrating the farmer stuff, which is great. Continue to celebrate that as we try to find some other questions here. We don't have a lot of questions in the mix, which is fine. All right, Michael. So right now, Florida State, in terms of their recruiting, how much of a focus are they able to do on 24, and how much of the focus is on the transfer portal? Does it change at all, do you think, with the fact that the window of the transfer portal closes here in a few days? Do you think they're focusing much more on what they can get right now in the portal, or are they doing a pretty good job of balancing their needs for this class for 24 as well as the portal?
I think they're balancing it. I think if somebody jumps out to them, they're going to go and do it. I've mentioned safety, but they do have like 7 or 8 safeties on their roster. So maybe they feel like, you know what, with these guys, we can develop some of these guys. And I think they might feel comfortable there unless it's a top tier guy that just can't miss, NFL type prospect. Got to get him in. And go from there. Hold on, BJ's asking me one thing, so I think that's kind of it with that.
Okay. Another name here that's been thrown out here from our guy Tom Smith and Eric Burton, edge rusher from Clearwater Academy International, home of Lucas Simmons, who's on the roster, Jason Zandamella, who they're trying to get on the roster. Another edge would be nice, 6'5", 225. Yeah, that would hunt for sure. And that remains, I would think, especially now with the news of Joshua Farmer remaining in the mix, I still would think defensive end has to be on the radar for Florida State at this point, Michael. You love what you have with Jared Verse and Patrick Payne, but after that, it's, I mean, I had 9 tackles for loss last year, so I don't want to overlook Gilbert Edmond too much, but man, you need some more numbers there. And a name, I guess, to consider possibly would be Eric Burton there. So
right.
Put that in the notebook, Michael. Put that one in the notebook.
And there's a few safeties that are out there that I think certainly I could see FSU getting involved with. Another guy is Demetrius Hill, FIU safety. There's a lot of different ties to I guess around the South Florida area that Patrick Surtain knows. So that's another one I'm kind of keeping an eye on. So there's several names, but like I said, they're not going to go after a guy unless it's like a dude that's just really NFL ready at that safety position. And I think at linebacker, it's probably going to be a younger guy that maybe fits that Taiwan Malone role where you're ranked really high, but really young that you can bring in at linebacker and really go in. BJ says he's in. So by the way, to change subjects. So I feel like I was giving birth to getting this done. But so I kind of think it's going to be something where FSU is waiting for the right situation.
All right. Without further ado, then let's go ahead and bring our guest for the week on, which is a good thing. We need to start doing this more often here. Part of the Tribe 2024 class. Hopefully, you can help out Link Jared on the diamond too. We certainly would appreciate that. Without further ado, let's bring BJ Gibson here onto the show, joining us from the safety and hopefully he's parked and nice and secure there. BJ Gibson joining us here on the warchant.com live recruiting chat. Hopefully he can hear us. Can you give us a thumbs up? Can you hear us, BJ? All right. Seems like we can't hear him.
Hold on one second. We'll get it worked out, BJ. Just hang tight. We're working on your audio.
Yeah. So I can't really work on his audio too much here remotely. We'll have BJ hang out in the background. We'll just BJ, when you think that you've got your audio out going up and good, just give us a thumbs up and I'll try to bring you back in, but we can't hear you right now. Michael, maybe you want to text him and let him know. Can't hear you. No, can't hear you. I wish I knew American Sign Language. It'd probably help out a lot better in this situation, but if you want to communicate with him, Michael, and let him know that we cannot hear him, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. In the meantime, let's take some other questions here on the YouTube chat here. Michael, when it comes to, let's see here. Travis Hunter is going to hunt us probably for a long, long time. I really can't ask Michael this, everybody, because he's trying to juggle it and get BJ here on the program. So All right, did we lose BJ? Now he muted himself. He's back. Let me see if I can unmute him. This is gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
I think that's what
Says
the issue.
I can't unmute him because he's muted himself. I wish I could hold up a sign, be like, BJ, unmute yourself.
Okay, it's unmuted now.
Yeah, I can't hear him, man. Can't at his mic. Yeah, I can't do any kind of stuff in the background here. So, what to do, Michael? Answer a question here, Michael, while you're communicating with him. So this is fun, everybody. This is live. I miss doing live television, especially like when you didn't have your IFB in. Like you want to be able to hear everybody in the back telling you what's going on. You would just kind of wing it, and they would just throw you to commercial break if they had to. But we're going to try to power through this and get BJ here. As y'all can see him, he's there. Everyone's saying
We'll get you on 1 second. Yeah, we'll get you on, BJ. Just hang tight.
I wonder, like, hey BJ, can you hear us? Can you get? I only just left the picture there.
I told him to leave, and
so he can't hear us. So that's a good thing. So he can hear us. Oh, I think we can hear him now. BJ, you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
There we go. All right.
BJ.
Right.
What is up, BJ? How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I just got me a bite to eat.
Okay.
I'm feeling great.
Is it pouring there in Georgia, or is it nice weather over there?
Oh, it's pouring. Our second baseball game got canceled today because of a big pour rain.
I got you. Well, just jump right into this, BJ. Talk about just this class. You guys are building the special one. Just got Landon Thomas, obviously, a few weeks ago. Just talk about what the communication's like with all the commits, and how are you guys feeling about this class?
Hey, Tallahassee's booming right now. Hey, everybody's seen it. Hey, we got a 5-star. We got a 5-star to flip. Matter of fact, I was talking to Landon at the spring game. I was like, man, you got to come back, because you don't know he was obviously committed there at one point, and he flipped back to Georgia. But he where home is now.
Yeah, there you go.
And now we locked in. Hey, and we got Cam Davis. We got Luke. I think we got what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. But I know we got Camden Fryer. That's another receiver. And I can't think of the other two guys right now. I've been in contact with them, but it blew my mind.
Yeah, I know you guys have been involved with a lot of guys. Like Charles Lester's the next big guy that you guys want. What do you kind of tell recruits that are uncommitted when it talk about FSU? What is it about? What do you tell them that why this is the move?
It's real. It's like the vibes in Tallahassee are real. Like, I mean, I've been to many colleges, but like I just got the urge of it, like Florida State being the realest of them all. And like it's always been real when I came down there. Like, I mean, I told you guys that in the first couple of interviews I did when I got down there, but it's always just been real. Everything's been genuine. I feel like it's like no sugarcoat really. Like no, just like try to get you there, try to feed on, like give you stuff that make you want to come. And he was just like, I mean, really just it was no really recruiting. It was like he gave me what it was, told me how it was gonna be. I mean, that's how I really want it.
Right.
I don't want it to be different.
Right. Who are you working on, BJ? Who are you talking to? Because there's a lot of top prospects in the Peach State. There's a ton of guys, but who do you talk with about FSU the most?
My boy, Jalewis Solomon.
Okay.
Yeah,
what do you tell him?
I think FSU's recruit. I mean, I tell him it's home all the time, but like me and him actually played against each other in the third round of last year's playoffs.
Yeah. And he's visited FSU like 3 or 4 times, so he knows FSU really well. You committed obviously around that weekend. I felt like you were committed for a while. It just felt like just when you talked about FSU it was different. But I guess the question that everyone wants to know here is like, what position do they mainly like you? Is it receiver? Is it outside receiver? Is it slot receiver? Or are you going to play DB? Or are you going to be like Charles Woodson and play both sides? Or what are their plans for you when you get to FSU position wise?
I think I'm pretty locked in at receiver.
Okay.
I think they got me pretty much locked in at receiver. And he haven't told me exactly. I mean, he told me that I'm most likely an inside guy, but he said I can alternate and play both. So I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Getting this, I mean, get to run the short routes and get to run the deep balls also, which is in my mix of my game. I kind of like doing both, getting across the field and getting upfield. So.
Right. Talk about the way they use you at Wilcox. What do they do with you? I mean, is it mainly slot? Is it kind of just get your hands on the ball? Is it Wildcat? I mean, what did they do with you at Wilcox?
And we'll, I run a lot of jet sweeps.
Okay.
I run a lot of I run a lot of deep balls also. I mean, a lot of slants, a lot of outs, quick outs. I mean, really, I feel like me and my OC is really, really tight, and he really knows that, that I'm a playmaker, and he just try to get me the ball any way possible, no matter if it's, on a deep ball, on a short route, screen, pretty much anything. I mean, I feel like I can make a play out of anything, pretty much.
Now, I know one subject you love talking about is your future quarterback, Luke Cromenhawk. Luke, you love. I mean, Luke's been the guy that you've said that, hey, that's my guy. Tell me about the relationship with Luke and just what you watched him obviously with his film. What makes him so special as a quarterback?
Oh, his ball, the ball he throws is like pinpoint. I think I watched some of his highlights last week. I think it was in the I don't know if it's called like sectionals or whatever in the Elite Eight.
Okay.
I mean, not Elite Eight, Elite 11. And his ball the touch of his ball comes off pretty. And that's what you like to see as a good quarterback. I mean, you want good accurate throws.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you more chance to make plays.
And I talked to a lot of recruits around Luke, and it's like Luke is so likable, around you guys. I mean, you're around him. He's just such a likable guy. What's his personality like? Why is it so infectious? His personality. Why do you guys connect so well with each other, you and Luke, and just his personality?
The personality of a quarterback fits Luke so well. I mean, he's a likable guy, easy to talk to. I wouldn't even commit to FSU yet. I mean, he came up to me, I think it was like a couple visits ago. It was like, man, I need you in the receiver spot. I mean, you want the quarterback to be your best friend. The quarterback has to be your best friend if you want the ball. I mean, and he gives off a best friend type of personality, and he's the guy that you want to be around.
You've seen the development of this program. I think a while back it was you were still visiting, but what's kind of development of what you've seen in this program? Obviously, this year they're talking playoff ACC title, but what have you seen with the development of this program of what's so different about them the last 2 years?
It's the climb. I really think it's the climb. Like Coach Norvell came in and he's built a brotherhood, a family, and all. I mean, everybody coming together really is wow. I feel like it's coming together now.
Is the mindset with the class like, hey, we're going for a title this year?
Yes, sir. I think they got ranked preseason top 5.
Right.
What is that? What it was?
Yeah, around there.
Hey, my mic's breaking up. It's lagging.
We can hear you fine. We hear you.
Hello, you hear me?
Yep, we hear you. We're here.
All right. Looks like he just dropped out.
Okay.
In the course of this interview, if you're just joining us, again, breaking at the bottom of the screen, Joshua Farmer tweets out that after all, he will be staying at Florida State. However, apparently Omarion Duke Cooper has entered the portal. So welcome again to 2023, everybody. If you're not familiar with college football, there's a thing called the portal. These kids can enter it. They've got a few more days to figure it all out. Some people are jumping into it. So it looks like Duke Cooper now, who is kind enough to play safety this spring to give some depth back at that position because they desperately need some help there. Apparently now is going to enter his name into the portal. So thin position becomes just a little bit more thinner.
Like I said, there's 7 guys in there, 6 or 7. So maybe it's a situation where Duke wanted to play corner. That's where he's been playing most of his career. So maybe he felt like he could do that at another place.
Yeah. So right now, in terms of guys actually have experience playing Division I college football safety, it's Shaheem Brown, it's Akeem Dent, and then it's Travis J. I think he played a couple of reps, so maybe I shouldn't be too dramatic about it. But yeah, that's where they're at right now with safety. So I don't know whoever that guy was from UAB. They probably should call him right now. But I don't need to tell them how to do their jobs. They know what to do. Let's see some more questions here, Michael. All our guy Kyle comes back and asks, why is Daniels? I don't even, what's his Daniels guy that we're talking about? I don't even know. Can we get a first name on
I
him?
would imagine he's talking about Jonathan Daniels,
Oh,
offensive
okay.
lineman.
All right.
Yeah.
Why is he such a confusing prospect? He's ranked anywhere between a 3 to 5-star prospect. What gives?
I haven't seen anybody rank him as a 3, but I've seen 4-star. Some people like him at 4-star. Some people like him at 5-star. I like him around the top 150 range as a 4-star. I wouldn't put him as high as what On 3 has, but I do think he's a high 4-star. I do think he's very talented. Guess 247 maybe dropped him all the way down to the 3-star, but I think for the most part, people have him as a 4 and 5-star. I think 4-star is more, I guess, where I would put him and where I think he is, but certainly a guy that FSU likes. Certainly a guy at the guard position that they feel certainly fits. But I think anytime you have this stuff, you're going to have a difference of opinion of people liking a guy a little more than the other. I personally, I think he fits perfectly what FSU wants to do interior wise. I think he's more of an interior guy, even though his position is listed as OT. I think he's more of a OG for his future in college. But opinions vary. Get down. I mean, that's the best way I can do it. But I personally like him as a 4-star, and I'd say 150 range for me.
All right. Chris Clayton. Is there a linebacker in the portal that FSU is actively talking to, Michael?
Not yet that I've heard that pops out to me, but I'm sure there's other players that they're intrigued with. I know there's like 2 or 3 that they're intrigued with, but nothing really serious that I would talk in there, Chris. I would say, oh yeah, they're for sure they're going heavily after this guy. Nobody yet, to my point. And if they're, like I said, if I do get a linebacker, I think it's going to be somebody that's a younger prospect, because what you need in there is depth behind those top 3 that you have. It's hard to sell a top-notch starter type guy to come into a situation that there's already 3 set starters. So I think what you want is a young guy you can put in there, you can get reps from, that you can combine him with a guy like Omar Graham and a few others. I think Blake Nicholson's going to come right in there, and I think he will play early. But I think that's kind of what you're looking for, is a younger guy that can get reps, that can help you out with your depth.
Ryan Lechner, I know we're keeping an eye on Kamari Wilson if he enters the portal. Is there anyone else, Michael, you would expect that Florida State would almost certainly go after if they were to enter the portal?
I mean, Kamari would be one, but Kamari says a lot of stuff to see himself say stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff where he plays messing around with a lot of people. So I know there's talk about Kamari. I'm not buying it until he goes in there. Now, if he's in there, bam, yeah, I'm going to be talking about him, because certainly there's a history there. I listed a few guys already. I mentioned earlier the kid from FIU. We've already talked about Keys. But outside, yeah, if there's somebody that pops up, yeah, they're immediately going to go. And I will immediately jump on the PRB and I will immediately talk about them, guys, if I know they're a set guy. But I don't think there's a set guy outside of Kamari that they would definitely go after outside of the guy that I mentioned from FIU. I don't even know if he's in yet, but that's just a name I've heard. But I think Kamari's the only guy that fits in that category.
And yeah, again, Cheese probably wants names. There's no names. There's just positions, right, Michael? When it comes to targets, it's really just positions at this point. There's no particular
It is. No, there's not targets yet. There's still, like I said, it's going to have to be a guy that fills a hole like solidly. I know everyone wants a linebacker, because like, oh yeah, the linebacker depth's thin, and it is. They do need depth there, but it's a lot. I mean, you still have to be very selective in getting the right fit into there, because you can't just take one and it's like, okay, just to get a body in there. You need somebody that's going to, product wise, is going to help you. It's going to fit a role what you want. Certainly I think that's what they're kind of focused on, is the full need. And there's a lot of background in all this stuff. This stuff isn't just like, bam, you jump in and, oh, there's a player in there, go get them. I mean, it's a lot of background, making sure the fit is there culturally, making sure the fit there is physically, skill wise, and it's like, hey, can this guy help us of what we're looking for? I agree with a few people that have put in there that they need a safety. I agree. I think an experienced safety would really help them. I mean, I think that would be a big deal. Even more so now with Duke leaving. Duke was an experienced guy that was certainly in there. Obviously, it sounds like he didn't want to play safety, and that's fine. But they do need some guys that they need a productive safety to come in there. I personally think the two guys I covered kind of fit that more so with the FIU guy. But it's going to be a wait and see to go from there.
Michael, any concerns? Charles Lester going to Boulder?
I mean, you never want that as far as him visiting, but I kind of like it because it's not like the Deion or the Travis Hunter situation where it was all secretive and behind the scenes, and it's like he's going to officially visit, and I don't mind it so much because it's his first visit. It's not like he's gone to Colorado 2 or 3 times. He's only going to take an official visit there, and that's fine. I'm still not that concerned. Obviously, that they concern me more than any other school because of just what Deion does, the charisma he has, and certainly he knows how to relate to DBs. But overall, the fit wise and what the program's going to look like, I think Charles wants to be a part of a team that's a winning team consistently. So let's say slightly, but I still feel good about where FSU's at, Chris.
Shout out to our guy Thomas Giddings, in some corners known as T. Giddy.
There you go.
That awesome hockey jersey I was wearing last week, that's who gave it to me. He also gave us a new one. Look at this thing. It's totally embroidered. Look at this, man. Double sevens. What's up, man? It's my number from back in the day when I played hockey, man. So, yeah, we got it, Thomas. We got the jerseys. Next time I see Corey, I will give it to him. I exchange your fond messages of his congratulations for his engagement to him as well. Thank you, Thomas. You're the man.
Yep, and a couple of people pointed out with Duke, yeah, his old coach is at Colorado for Duke. Coach Chaney is there now. Used to be the coach at Lehigh. He was there with him, so that would be the logical choice, I would say, as far as Duke and going to Colorado. I think another person that asked about TJ Abrams slipping. I will get. I'm not going to give you specific details on this, guys, but I will say there's nothing to worry about with Colorado and TJ because apparently I don't think it was like I don't think the trip actually blew him away, and I'll just leave it at that. I won't go into the level of I don't think it was that great as far as the visit, and I still feel it. He's locked in with FSU. I think he even put in a tweet out there like I am locked in, and he is very firm with FSU. So I think things are looking really good there. I know people worry about TJ because he hasn't visited, but people understand he's going through track season. It's 6 hours from where he lives to get over there. Some families don't have enough money to do that, and if he's going to go, he's going to want to stay for a few days. So I don't think you have to worry about TJ Abrams. I think that one's very solid. I have a lot of good contacts there at Fort Myers Dunbar High School. Everything they tell me is this kid dying to be a Seminole. So he has loved FSU. Nothing's changed. They've certainly kept the push on as far as how much they love him. So people keep mentioning him to me. It's like, guys, he's solid.
I think a linebacker from Notre Dame has entered the portal, so people are going to ask about him, Michael.
Prince Collie?
I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's been in there for about a week.
All right.
Okay.
I saw a new one pop up there when I was trying to get the farmer tweet earlier today.
Okay.
Wild madness.
They're testing our multitask skills today. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
By the way,
it was a running back from Notre Dame that just entered the portal. So yeah.
Okay. I think we're good there. I think FSU's good at running back. I think they're set there. They're good, guys.
Let's see here. Kevin Johnson, he doesn't. A lot of people like Colorado. A lot of people like Deion Sanders, Colorado. It's interesting. It's very interesting how this is affecting people.
Well, they're good, and the thing I'll say about Colorado is they're going to get players. Now they have to coach them and develop them. That's the part we don't know, and that's the unknown. That's where my questions lie with a lot of the stuff. But yeah, they're going to get players early on. We've seen that through these prospects, and certainly Deion relates to a lot of different people. His charisma, he's played. I mean, he's played at the highest level. One of the best athletes to ever play at FSU. There's no question about that. But I think the question's going to be, can they develop and coach him? Because that's where it comes in.
Indeed. I'd like to say the good news is we haven't gotten any Dustin Hill questions because of everything going on.
I saw one in there.
That would be a lie. It would be a lie.
I saw one in there. May 13th, guys. That's the date that I'm waiting on. So that's it. There's nothing new with Dustin Hill. That's what's going on. That's what I'm waiting on, that date.
Are we going to go to the airport?
I'm not going to go to the airport, but I'm going to be at
the airport. I'm going to the airport.
Aslan's going to the airport. I'm going to be at Moore. So I will be there that day, and I will be ready, and we'll see.
I think he can drive. He probably would drive, actually. Probably wouldn't fly in. So maybe I should just, see what car he's going to drive. We'll follow him once he crosses the border into the state. I want to be too – I don't want to follow him the entire way. Just maybe the last 4 hours. What happened with Joshua Farmer, Reliable Resellers asks. One can only guess. And speaking of that, how about $100 American via our guy Ray Pereira?
There you go.
Right nice. On you.
Nice.
He's the man. What up, Ray Pereira, everybody? In case you don't know, Pillar. His name is right there.
Pillar and Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
Dungeon Master.
Ray gets down, y'all. Ray's not scared. Greetings, he says. Any dark horse prospects hiding in the dungeon, Michael, the 4 or 5-star variety? Any guys that are they maybe have Florida State in their top 6 or top 8. No one's really talking about them all that much, but you think Florida State has maybe a good shot at possibly?
Well, I would say there's a few guys. One I've already covered, Elias Robinson, who's committed to Georgia. Nobody's thinking like FSU, but FSU behind the scenes has been working that one. I would say another one is visited FSU that a lot of people think is a lock for LSU is Wardell Mack that visited. He's very tight with he loves Patrick Surtain, and he also has a good relationship with Yak. I think they're going to visit him this week. So that was a guy. Those 2 guys, I think, are 2 that jump out. Besides that, I think most of the 5 stars and 4 stars I've covered, Ray, as far as that are heavily in the picture. I think I've laid out a pretty clear thing. I did a 10 to watch last week. I think that's pretty set on just the main guys as far as what they're looking at. So I think, but those 2 are kind of maybe some surprises.
Ray, we appreciate you, man. Hope all's well in H-Town. I think we're going to see him in Orlando. His wife, LSU fan, so he'll be at the game.
Cool.
We missed it the spring game, big guy.
She's awesome. I actually talked to her when I went to the dungeon. By the way, the dungeon isn't made up, guys. It's a place in New Orleans. It is freaky, but I talked to her. She's a sweet lady. She was really cool. We had a beer. We talked, and Ray's really good. Ray is such a really good guy. I'm not saying that because he just dropped 100 on us, but Ray is a super dude. I've been around him, talking to him in person, and just he's a cool dude. He's a really good dude, and I wish everyone could meet him, but I had a great time, talking to him. He knows at a weird, unique place in the dungeon, but it was phenomenal.
The dungeon. Yeah, we met him at the meet and greet. He was in New Orleans for the meet and greet. I met with him and his wonderful wife. So I can confirm everything Michael just said. Ray he's not only that guy, he's that dude. Some might even say. Some might even say that. All right, what else do we got here? All right, how about Garrett wants to know Van Dre. I want to say this. Michael said Van Dravius first, and I'm like, all right, he's from Fort Pierce. I'm going to go with him too. He's going to be my preseason pick. So, we can't pick him now because we've obviously seen him play and perform.
Right.
So what player from this most recent class do you think is a dark horse, is our dark horse segment, to contribute this season, Michael? I'll pull up the list.
I'm going to mention the guy that I mentioned earlier, Blake Nicholson at linebacker. I think Blake's going to add you're going to need some depth in there. For those that didn't watch the USA All-Star game or whatever they're calling it, the All-American Bowl. He led everyone in tackles for that game. He's a tackling machine. He's very effective. I think you can use him in short yardage situation. He's very good athlete that can play offense too if you need to. But I really like as far as a guy that doesn't get talked about enough. I think Blake's a guy that depth-wise it isn't there a lot. So I think he can come in there and help you.
Yeah. I'll throw Jaden Jones in the mix. He was
There you
hurt
go.
this whole spring rehabbing, but man, he's a legit 6'6". Like I didn't realize he was like a 6'6", 240-ish kind of guy.
Oh yeah, his frame's awesome looking.
Yeah.
Awesome looking.
And listen, man, I'd never like putting expectations on guys that are coming off major injuries. But maybe there's enough time there to where let's get just 10, 15 good reps out of you every few games. Maybe not. He's obviously going to be an every down guy, but that defensive end rotation is so thin right now. It would surely be awesome. And when we spoke to Coach Papuchis at the end of spring, he said that, I was like, is it an expectation or a hope that he'll be ready to go when camp opens up? He's like, no, it's our expectation. If he doesn't have any setbacks, he's going to be ready to go. So
tell you a few others, guys. My number one guy, even ahead of Blake, would be KJ Kirkland. Like, you guys have not seen KJ yet. That guy can ball. Like, that guy is going to make an impact in there. At safety. I'd also don't sleep on Conrad Hussey, another safety out of St. Thomas Aquinas, 4-star. He's coming in the summer. But I love watching KJ Kirkland play. I loved him when he was at Reigns, even though he's a 3-star. A lot of people question it, like, oh, he's only a 3-star. Why would you take that guy? And it's like, I think that guy is going to be a guy you see contribute this season.
Our guy, Matt Lasser, endorsing the Dungeon, calling it the best bar in New Orleans. So
I'm not going to argue that's the only bar I went to. So I'm going to go. I'll side with Matt on that.
Hey, look, everybody. It's Eric Angell, man. What up, Eric?
Dollar bills, y'all.
Where do we see Jamie Robinson going in the draft tonight? Tomorrow.
Try tomorrow. Yeah,
tomorrow.
I think he's a second round pick somewhere in there. Maybe might slide into third or really early third, but I'd say second round third. But a first round. I mean, I always go by what my guys have told me that are in the NFL department as far as scouting and drafting, and it only takes one. It only takes one team to be so sold on you that they can jump. So he could go higher, but for me, I'd say second.
All right, I like that. Yeah, this is going to be a really weird draft class. Obviously, when these guys are going to have to be part of all pro teams and Pro Bowl teams, probably they're not going to get that bypass, but it's going to be funny to look at this draft like 5-6 years later and see how many guys are Pro Bowlers, elite level guys, because it feels like, people are talking more about Caleb Williams and Drake May than they're really talking about, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. It's wild, man. It's wild.
Yep.
Let's see. We had a question from Mark Dorfman, a.k.a. Dorf Nasty. Any word on Dylan Stevenson? Sounds like a name what's it, Dylan?
Yeah, he visited a few weeks ago. I don't think there's any change in what he told us, which he's close. I think he wants to get it done by June or July. He's visiting FSU officially, I think in June, late in June. And I think FSU sits in a pretty good spot, even though the RPM is controlled by Miami as my power flickers on and off with all this rain. But I think FSU slightly a little bit more than Miami, but he's visiting officially then, and he's getting close to wrapping this thing up. So I think he's a guy that you probably see something decide in the summer.
Greg Turner says with Cam shutting it down, how many running backs do you think they take in 24, Michael?
Probably only one more, but it'll be tricky. Like if Christian Clark, a guy they love, jumps in, and then and Micah Danzy comes in, I think those are the only two that I think it could stretch to the 3 mark. But they're recruiting Micah more as an athlete too, even though he's mainly running back. So I would say 2 for me.
All right. Hit the thumbs up, everybody, if you haven't done so already. We surely appreciate it. We got BJ Gibson on here, breaking news, Joshua Farmer returning, Amari Cooper leaving, answering all your questions. Just a quick little thumbs up, little tap of the thumb up button. That would be super appreciated. We don't have a name on this guy. We've just got a position and a college. Some guys acting like he's Deion's son in the chat. So
yeah, they need to get rid of that guy.
He's being all right. We'll let him. He's being interesting.
I just don't understand people that have that in their day frame to come into a FSU recruiting chat, and I just don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Nick Castagna, do you think we have a legitimate chance of Flip Robinson from Georgia if he does take an official visit?
I mean, we'll wait and see what he visits. He hasn't visited FSU yet, so I'm not going to really have a take on that. I know he loves Patrick. There's certainly a great tie there. He knows what Patrick does development wise. Yeah, if he takes an official visit there, you're going to have a shot. Now, how good a shot? I need to see him visit first so I can get a feel for kind of what's going on from people that are close to Elias and then people that are close from the FSU side. But until they visit, it's mainly just the talking's going really good. But outside that, I would think I think FSU is very heavily pushing. So certainly there's a chance, but how good of a chance I'm not going to know until he gets on campus.
Jason Brown just joining us here. Yeah. Again, safety, number one need position, portal, Michael, yes?
I do. I think so. Even more so now with Duke, because Duke was an experienced guy. Even though it was his first year, I think playing safety, but he's been experienced inside the program. But yeah, I think proven safety, an NFL type level safety. It doesn't have to be when I say NFL too, guys, that doesn't mean he has to be a first round pick. It just means NFL type of player that production wise it can help you. So I think any guy that fits in there can it can certainly fit that.
Trying to see if there's anything of interest out there. So I'm asking about, do we know what happened to Dustin Hill the last 2 years? Man, we wrote a book about it, brother. We wrote a book about it if we knew, if we could have done it. We're not holding anything out on you here. I promise you that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think people ask about Farmer too. It's like, look, guys, I mean, I think Irish covered it a lot, but it's probably NL centric. But obviously, his role and what FSU is, and he wanted to be comfortable with everything that's he's going into, and obviously, it seems like that all got done. So that's kind of the deal there. There's nothing really to go more than that.
Cam Coleman, Nick wonders about allowed.
I would say he's a lean towards Auburn. I think they've done the best job, but I also think FSU's in the top 3. I think he will likely officially visit FSU, but outside of that, I think it's Auburn's a leader and there's work to do.
I wish I had like my drill. I wish I had like my drill.
Yeah.
Because I'd grab my drill right now. I would go zzz, and then I'd pop this on the screen.
There you go.
Yo, let's go.
Z. Nice.
Dollar bills, y'all.
What up, Z Chan? 200 American in the kitty for us.
Nice.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Good question, by the way.
Michael, how much stock does being at a place like IMG hold over a conventional high school? Go Noles, and thanks for staying, Joshua.
Yeah, good question. As I said, the big difference is the transformation of what you're going to get getting ready to go into college. I've been on this facility. It's freaking incredible. The training and nutrition and the strength and all this different things they offer is just stuff that no other high school can have. I mean, those schools in Georgia and Texas have phenomenal places. They don't have the stuff. I mean, you got professionals that train here at IMG that do it, like professional athletes that go in there. So when you get that kind of sell that you can, what they can do is they can get you like if you know where you're going school wise, then you go there and you can get prepared, you can get developed, you can get ready, and that's mainly what it is a college, getting you in a college ready environment. So the transformation is pretty easy when you go, not easy, but just easier to go to college, and that's the advantage they have on the other places. Regular high school is. Now the disadvantage is you ain't going to win a state title. You still play the best of the best. You play elite teams, but it's the development you get there with the training and the amount of things they can help you as far as getting ready to what you're going to see in college.
Wrapping things up here. It's funny how this always works. It's like once we're at the end, like all the questions start pouring in. So YouTube, figure out your algorithm, why it takes you 54 minutes to get this thing out to everybody. But Antoine Stone wonders, what position do you think Florida State sees Edwin Joseph at when he gets here, Michael?
Cornerback, outside shot of a safety, but mainly cornerback. I think he can play safety if you want him to. He's physical enough. I had a really great chat with Edwin right after the spring game. He was chatting with me, and he's telling me, hey, I'm going to get JoJo Trader. He feels good about JoJo Trader. By the way, they play at the same school, but Edwin's a great kid. But I think he's mainly going to be cornerback. Antoine, if I had to guess right now, that would be the position I think he plays.
_D_V_6_. What's your thoughts on Daniel Lyons? We share the same last name. I'd love to buy his jersey.
Okay. I'm sure he would love that. Probably help his name and image and likeness, but I love Daniel. I think Daniel is a really future guy for this defensive line. They love him. It's very high. I mean, he's flashed some when I've gone out, when I'm out there at practice, and I think he's a great player. I think he fits what they look for, explosive, athletic, probably one of the more athletic defensive tackles they have, and that's saying a lot. I think he's very athletic. So I think he's going to offer a lot once he gets settled in with everything he wants and knows as far as the defense. But I think he's definitely the future, and they're pretty high on him.
They are. I think they've used the S word. I think they've called him special, describing what they think he can be for them. So, but in any event, though, Joshua Farmer's still ahead of him right now. Well, at least he was coming out of spring. Maybe they'll knock him down for this whole saga thing, leaving. Yeah. Again, if you're just joining us here, Joshua Farmer, who earlier in the week tweeted out his intentions to transfer, actually put his name into the portal today, but about an hour ago, less than an hour ago, actually sent out a heartfelt message to you folks at home that said a lot of nasty things about him. And because he loves this place. And why wouldn't you? And also, Amari Cooper apparently has entered the transfer portal as well. He is, right. I don't think he is. They've taken his name off the roster, which used to be a really big deal, Michael, because they took Joshua Farmer's name off the roster, but his name is back now on the roster. I love this. It's incredible. Do we know the numbers, Ray Pereira wonders, with all the recent portal entries? Man, they're still over 85, I think. That's all I can say with somewhat confidence. I do not know the exact.
I think they're around one over, but they're close. But there's going to be more attrition. And if you take 2 or 3, you're going to get, you're going to have to, there's going to be more to have to depart. And like I said, they're still doing exit meetings. So this is going to happen. This is expected, as far as, what you go through as far as guys leaving. But I would say probably 1 over if I had to guess without looking at the numbers.
All right. So the portal closes on the 30th, but correct me, Michael, you can only stop putting your name in. You can put your name in now, but you don't have to commit by the 30th. So
exactly. And that's the point people miss, is people think like you have to be done by everything on the 30th. It's like, no, you just have to have your name in. So as long as your name's in on the 30th, doesn't matter how long it takes, or it does probably matter how long, but you don't have to have it right away. So main thing is just getting your name inside the portal on the 30th. And so we'll see. Yeah, they're being selective. They are. I mentioned that a few times in this chat, that they're being very selective what they want. They obviously want a safety. Same thing, safety, linebacker, and defensive lineman, probably defensive end. So yeah, they're being very selective. It's been quiet, but compared to what I'm used to. But I knew it would be, because you're talking about numbers that are selective. You're talking about guys that are still, they're doing exit interviews. They haven't got that point. They might have a spot, so I know there's discussions, there's breakdowns to who they're targeting, but they are going to be very selective when it comes to this stuff.
Jonathan McIntosh, I don't know how Duke, Amari Cooper would have done at safety, but how does the safety position look like without him after Dent and Brown?
I mean, he hasn't played there before, so it's hard to dictate. Like I said, you have like 7 safeties, so you're going to ask some young guys to come in there and play. There's some productive guys. Certainly, they feel like
Michael. There's no productive guys, man. Like Shaheem's got great upside. Akeem is like, Travis J hasn't played like in a year, and then you got true freshmen and walk-ons. Like they're
Yeah,
not good at safety, which is fine. They got time to get somebody, but there's no way you can say they're fine at safety right now.
No, I didn't say they're fine. I just said numbers-wise, they have guys that they can possibly develop and be good safeties. I'm not saying they're fine. They're not fine at all. That's been my number one concern is safety. So they need to bring in a guy. I think they're going to need to bring in a guy. I certainly didn't use the word fine when it comes to that. Their
Well, they
safety.
got guys that have produced, and they don't have anyone that's produced at that position, man.
No, they don't. Outside of Dent, they don't. Outside of Dent and Brown, but to the guys' credit, like I said, there's numbers there. But can they develop and these guys step up potentially? We'll see. But I think it's important. That's why I think they need to bring in one productive guy to kind of lead that group that'll kind of help you. I like what I see out of KJ. I think certainly Shyheim Brown could be a player and help you. Keem Dent, we know what he can do. So, but you do need more productive guys.
That is right.
And maybe you can move one of your corners over to that safety position and maybe cross train them, and maybe they can do both that are effective at the defensive back position that maybe you can cross train into that position. I don't know. That's for FSU to figure out.
Well, that's the bummer of this all, man, is that, maybe if Cooper wasn't about it, they perhaps start Quindarius Jones over at safety, but Quindarius Jones is a guy that they like a lot, and he did pretty good this spring, but it was all at cornerback. It would have been really cool to get some reps maybe at safety a lot more. Azaria is a guy that maybe you would think could play at safety with his size.
He definitely can. He definitely can.
Kept it, cornerback this entire time. So
yeah, they've used him all over the place when he was at Niceville. I mean, he could play corner, safety, so he certainly has the ball skills to play that position if they wanted to go that direction. And I think he's just a kid that just wants to play. So there's options, but there's not a lot of productive options at the same position like currently right now.
All right, man. Yeah. Really wish that Sam. That's gonna be a weird one. It's gonna be a weird one, especially if he goes and does well at College Station. But anyhow, we're just worried about who we have on board here, Michael. So that's how we operate.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah. I was just gonna say with Sam, he wasn't doing the things he needed to do to a guy you can count on. Like, there's a reason nobody gave him like a man, we're gonna miss you, we love you type of like send off. Like, nothing against Sam. He's a great kid, but he wasn't doing the stuff that he needed to do. So it just wasn't working out. It just wasn't a good fit. So keep that in mind, guys, when these guys leave. There's certain things of guys that are missed and guys that probably not so much.
All right, Michael, I don't have anything left to ask you. I think we've about squeezed all the questions we can out of these people here.
What a show. What a show.
Want to thank all you folks out there for participating, hanging tough while we were getting BJ Gibson on the show. Thank you to BJ Gibson for hopping on. Huge thanks to Thomas Giddings, though, Ray Pereira, Eric Angell, Z Chan. It's incredible, man. Your generosity will never be overlooked, never taken for granted. It's awesome. And all you guys hanging out. Michael, thank you for taking time out of your night on a Thursday. Usually he carves things out on Wednesday to do stuff, hangs out with the missus on Thursday, but we pulled him away from his life to talk to you folks about recruiting. How do you see the next maybe, is it going to be a fun 72 hours here, you think, Michael, as the portal again? Guys can still move and shake in May, but they need to get their names in the portal by the 30th. Is it going to be a pretty hectic, do you think, 72 hours here as guys figure out whether or not they want to stay or go, whether it's Florida State or everywhere else around the country?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of guys that pop in the next 72 hours because this is it. This is the time. I think this is why Duke did it. You have to, if there's a chance, they're going to jump in. So I think it's going to be, should be quite a surge of more guys just jumping in because this is the time you have to jump in now and get it done. And if you're going to get in there and you're concerned or you feel like you're not sold on what your current situation is, I think there's going to be a lot of kids that jump in. I think you see a lot of kids that jump in. I think you also could see some group that come back, after they jump in. But I think there's certainly going to be a surge.
Not for Florida State, though. I think these guys, I'd leave the door open for Duke, but I think everybody else that's left before
Right.
Duke is there. We've kind of, I mean,
I agree.
McClendon and Gant are gone. They've already committed to Colorado, and then I think Zane Herring's the only other guy that
Right.
comes to the top of the head right now.
Right.
All right, we're done then. All right, Michael, it's been awesome. We might have to do it again next week. Who knows? Probably. Who knows?
Well, guys, thanks so much for everyone that contributed. Ray, all the guys that you jumped in. You guys don't have to contribute. We really appreciate Z. Thanks for all the big contributions. Whether it's $5, $2, $100, doesn't matter the amount. We greatly appreciate it all, and I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. It was a lot more entertaining, even more so than I thought it was. Thanks to BJ Gibson. Had some great stuff. Dropped some stuff about knowledge about FSU and just Luke a little bit. But just appreciate you guys all. Thanks for tuning in. I'll jump on your questions later tonight. Matt's going to have a recap. He's already confirmed with me that he's handling that. So Matt's really good with the recap stuff. So he'll have a good recap of this chat for you guys, and it's a doozy.
Yeah. Sorry, Jordan Noon asked about Kevin Noles. Kevin Noles is good. He's hurt. Probably mid-season return. I think he said himself on Micah's vlog. So nothing else to add, but there it is for you. You've asked a few times. Sorry about that, Jordan. All right, we are done. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. He's Michael Langston. I'm Aslan Hajivandi. Go to warchant.com because the grind don't stop. They got you covered over there. For Michael, I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody. If you could hit that thumbs up on the way out, I think he's deserved it. Do it for him. Have a great night, everybody.